Arts and Adventure summits the airwaves. This is the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show. I'm your host, R. Brandon Long, along with
Todd Oberndorfer.
And we are your hosts for the greatest arts and adventure podcast in all the land. Our guest today, Sara, the Ogden Dinosaur Park Executive Director. Why? Because she studied dinosaurs her whole life.
I know.
This is the first lesson of the day, and that is don't let anything hold you back, right? Yeah. Because you don't know what you're gonna do or where you're gonna be. Because what's your actual degree in?
So my undergrad was in leadership, and then I got my master's in public administration.
And so that lends to the title, at least, executive director.
Executive director. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And that can be applied to things like a dinosaur park where we've got our dinosaur buddy in here joining us today, Stegosaurus Steggy. I don't know what we've...
I know.
That's as good as anything. Maybe we'll come up with a name.
I'm going with that.
Steggy. And Sara, you were like, I should have brought my paleontologist with me to answer sort of the geeky questions.
I know.
But see, when I was younger, I would say that it would be like a bunch of roars. But the older I get, the more it's probably like a chicken sound or like a...
Who knows?
Because you're learning more about like, this one was probably more brightly colored than this is painted out. Like everything we were taught is all a lie.
It's all a lie.
Or actually, as my paleontologist, curator, education director, he has a lot of hats that he wears, would say, like, we're always learning new things.
I like that.
But we try to keep those original ideas to show the evolution.
I love that.
Yeah.
The evolution of what we've learned.
We're pro dad jokes,
right?
by the way.
I know,
So
good.
mom jokes, dad jokes.
Works really
them.
well too for me. So
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And there's probably a lot of dinosaur jokes.
so many. I know.
I mean, do we like nerd? Like, what's it like? What's it like? A normal day? Like, so you're new to and we'll get into the history, but as you walk in and you're going about your day, are you hearing the dino jokes on the daily? Is this something that...
Sadly, no.
So we got to work on that.
I know. I think maybe I could come up, that could be my job, like the joke of the day.
Yes, which they will all groan. They'll think this is hilarious because they're like, she's not not even a
She doesn't even know.
What is
she doesn't even know why that's funny.
Yes. Okay. So you are new to the park. So let's chat about how long you've been there, and then what the story is. What's going on?
Yeah. So I've been there for 4 months. So I started in January. Okay. And it is awesome. Like,
how long has the park been there?
32 years. Actually, we just hit 32 years. And yeah, I love it. It's amazing.
Okay, 32 years, and it is it's a park, it's a museum. What's the designation? Exactly?
Yeah, so we are a park and museum.
Okay.
Yep, we're both, because we have our indoor museum with the Stewart Education Museum on the ground level when you walk in. That's home to all of our fossils and big giant T-Rex and all of the skeletal replicas, and some things that we have are real, so you have to come check it out. We have real dinosaur bones, and a lab on our main floor. And then upstairs we have our Ogden Natural History Museum, so we have all of our gems and minerals and rocks and all the shiny things. That's what I say. That's my very scientific term for upstairs.
All the shiny things?
The shiny things, yeah.
Fair enough. Dinosaurs are never not trending, I don't think. Because and by the way, you're probably going to get you haven't experienced this yet because you've only been there 4 years, but there's a new dino world, or 4 months, Thank you, Todd. 4 months, but there's another dino movie coming out.
Oh, yeah.
July, maybe, the new one?
Yes.
Yeah.
With Scarlett Johansson.
With my girlfriend. And so that's
so cute.
I'm so glad you could talk her into doing one, because I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And if you bring that movie up at the dinosaur park, you will get a lot of opinions on what's going on in that new movie.
Okay, so my brother-in-law is a Navy pilot, okay? And so he's what Goose would be in Top Gun. He's like backseat in Top Gun, okay? That's literally his job.
That's so cool.
And so when the new Top Gun 2 came out, he's like, people talk to him all the time. And same thing. He's like, well, it's about as realistic as Jurassic World. And then he said, he knew the name of it. Like the one where they're in the newest one or whatever. Like Like it's not realistic at all. But it's fun.
But it's fun, right?
And
it's fun,
and we buy
and
in.
we love it.
Yes.
Plus the thing
Dominion.
about that.
Yeah, it's like Jurassic World Dominion. Like he said it like it's like not even close to like what the reality is.
And I was thinking just how Tom Cruise with those Top Gun movies is so like there's no CGI in that movie. Like
He's in the jet.
And all of the actors are in the jet.
They're all in the jet. Yeah.
Meaning like it's not even
That part's
so
real.
if it's
Yep.
so if that's non-realistic and yet there's still no CGI in it, I mean that says something. Like it's still got to be close-ish. Like the planes are off the ground, but maybe they're asking the planes. Maybe they're asking the planes to do more than what they actually do.
That's what I've heard.
Storyline.
Maybe the real life pilots are a little more boring, is what I'm saying, than what you see in the films.
I don't know. We know some of them.
I've met a lot of pilots. They don't seem too boring, but
they have, let's just say they have a lot of big personalities. A lot of them. Which
I think you have to.
Yeah.
I
think that's a nice way to put it.
So they're not in love with the movie, or they are in love with the movie, or
not the newest
Oh.
one. The one I think it's the one that's coming out. They're not in love with.
That's too bad.
They're just like, ooh.
And if they have those strong opinions before they've seen like 2.5 minutes of it.
Yeah. they already are like, nope.
But what if it brings in an extra, say, 100,000?
That's what I'm saying. So
because the movie
100%.
came out,
Will we be capitalizing it? Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, do you even get like movie, like the stanchions and stuff that they put in the movie theater? Like, do you get, or can you request stuff like that to like have on?
Yeah. Maybe.
Like I don't.
Yeah, I know we'll definitely be capitalizing on it. We have an incredible YouTube channel that just got monetized. It's a big deal for those of you that know what that means, like the process to go through that.
This one, yeah. That is absolutely huge.
Really
cool.
One,
it's the amount of followers, but really, it's the
hours and the
So
watchability. There's a lot to it that I didn't know.
What are some of the? Let's stick and stay on that for a sec.
Yeah.
What's on the YouTube channel that people are watching? Because that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is one of our biggest ones that has gotten a lot of traction is, could Jurassic Park exist? Like, is that really real? Is the science behind it real? Like, not like, should we do it?
Entire
but, like,
wolf.
Bring that up. That's a rant. I have heard that rant a few times. I could almost probably give it to you, but not quite. I'd screw it up probably, but essentially that is not a dire wolf.
It's a modified wolf.
It's a modified wolf. And
then you're going to tell me that the mammoth mouse is not real.
That is also not real. And then we have the Utah Mammoth hockey team.
Yes.
I was going to say, and that's what started this whole conversation, is dinosaurs are never not trending because Utah just made a huge announcement and they ditched their Utah Hockey Club name that they had for a year, run the brand new hockey team here in Salt Lake City, and they're going with Utah Mammoth.
Yep.
Not mammoths.
Not plural.
Mammoth.
Just
it's
one.
singular.
Just one.
I saw a guy comment said the company line is because it brings us all together as one.
I don't know.
But
our next YouTube video is about mammoths. So, of course, we're going to hop on that train and talk about it.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we all know the plural of jazz is jazz. So we're
there's
That's the other funny comments was like, so we just don't plural anything.
Call it whatever you want to.
the jazzes. Then it gets
that
to
jazzes sounds pretty silly.
Jazzes.
Yeah, that's pretty silly.
Oh shoot! Well, then YouTube's killing a good job.
Yeah, it's really
cool.
Who's
it? Just give him credit. Who's
I know. So
or?
Ben Floyd is kind of the mastermind behind it. Obviously, we pull in our paleontologist, curator, education director, whatever hat he's wearing. Jeff Bond. He's been with the park a really long time. I think 13 plus years. And yeah, they're doing a great job.
So Ogden Dinosaur Park on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Go watch those videos.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff on there.
That's great. Well, I mean, I don't know what the budget is, and I don't know how much YouTube pays. It's not a ton.
It's not a ton, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
A few dollars, like we could go get a couple pizzas and celebrate. But
but if you can get an extra $100, and then an extra $1,000 every once in a while, you're like, holy crap!
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah,
especially because it just broadens our audience, right? Like it extends our reach outside of Ogden. It gets more kids involved in learning about dinosaurs and seeing how fun it can be. We've done some pretty cool collaborations with like Ogden Natural History Museum, and we're going to go out to the Nature Center and, you know, take it on some field trips. And yeah, so it's just really cool to be able to collaborate with other fellow museums.
Familiar? Because you're not from Utah.
Nope.
You're from
Michigan. Yeah.
Is that back east or is that like
Midwest? We're in the Midwest.
Midwest, east. Okay, Michiganders. Y'all got dinosaurs back there?
Probably.
Well, y'all would be south.
y'all would be south. Because Utah has a boatload of dinosaurs.
Right. It's pretty cool how many are from here or found here. We're kind of a mecca. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
I feel like in Michigan, growing up, obviously, like my level of background history in dinosaur is The Land Before Time, the original, none of the sequels. That's how old I am.
Concur.
And and then the sitcom that was like a weird animated claymation called Dinosaurs.
They were costumes, weren't they?
Were they
costumes?
I think that those were like puppets.
That makes more. Yeah, I was like kind of puppets.
Yeah. They might have even been humans in costumes.
And it was like
dinosaurs.
on TGIF, and it was just called Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Loved that show.
It was like a sitcom, but instead of just like
a regular mom and dad.
Married with Children. It was like
a
family,
they were in
but they were dinosaurs.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah,
it was good. That was my level of dinosaur. But I do remember hearing about like mammoths finding them in like the ice, because we had like glaciers that formed the Great Lakes around Michigan. So I do remember hearing about that. But
and that was my comment on the dire wolves. It was, now do mammoths, because if you're gonna prove that you can make a dire wolf, make a mammoth. And then
I think
I think that is the thing. That's the
I think it's been underway for a while, so I'll bet you we'll find out about it like after the fact, because I think they've been working on that for I want to say like 10 years or so, like a long time.
But it can't be a modified elephant, like a modified.
That's exactly what it'll be. Yeah.
Well, it's
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Sarah!
I know. I think that was another rant. Like, that's what I hear. Instead of like dinosaur jokes around the park, I hear the latest scientific thing that's hit the news or the media, and like how it's a bunch of bunk.
Have you changed your news preferences, like on or whatever, to be like?
I get a lot of targeted, like my algorithms now on all of my like social medias and stuff. I am very targeted by all things dinosaur.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Did you were friends with Casey, right?
Casey
before,
a couple directors ago.
Through a friend.
Yeah,
that was a couple directors ago, and so we were talking before, and he hasn't been there for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
So
he was there for a long time, like 12 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
What just shows you what a part of the community the dinosaur park is. Like it is a
and her staff, she was telling me, has been there for a long time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like
And how lucky are you to have inherited that?
That's the number one thing, because like I obviously have clearly shared, like my background is not in dinosaur or paleontology or geology or any kind of ology.
We should point out it isn't what they need at this point.
No, right? Because we have that. Like we have all these incredible experts that already work there, that have already been there.
Well, as a fellow administrator, which is my day job, that is not. I have a background in art, so I'm an arts administrator, but do have a background in art, so that's great. But mostly I am getting paid because of my sexy administration skills.
Yeah.
Right?
And so I assume that's a big part of what you've looked at.
Mine is like my fundraising skills and my collaboration skills and the strategic vision skills.
We're kind of apparently we're obsessed with executive directors. That's like
I know. I've been watching like all my friends. I'm like, look, all my friends have been on this podcast. I feel so cool.
And so we do end up asking a lot of questions about how you ended up in that place. Obviously, for just the giant paychecks, that's usually the final answer.
Pretty good. It's, I feel like we're changing that in the nonprofit world.
And even good. Even that answer has sort of evolved over the last 15 years of us asking that question.
Yep.
Because you can't just find good leadership and good, like what you even have I didn't know you could actually study leadership.
Can.
But
my special or my specialty, that's not the right word, but
undergrad.
My focus for my master's was nonprofit management. So it was a master's in public administration with my focus was on nonprofit management.
Well, so I have to ask that question then. What was the interest at a younger time, whenever you did go to school for that, in nonprofits? What was it about nonprofits? What was your experience?
My younger time was I finished that 2 years ago.
2 years, okay, fair enough.
So my interest actually started when we moved here. So we moved here about 7.5 years ago, and I met who I lovingly call the Goal Gals. So the gals that used to work at the Goal Foundation. And I was like, tell me, what's the Goal Foundation?
This is like a sorority in town.
It is. I kind of feel like it is. I know, because you've had a few Goal Gals on your podcast.
They all know
the
each
past
other,
few
stick
weeks.
together.
We
It's
do.
a thing.
We
Yeah.
support each other. It's pretty cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of that. Like, I would love to work there. And so luckily.
Where did you meet the Goal Gals?
I met them. This is like the greatest story
This
of
is the
how
Ogden story because you're new to
this is
town.
my origin story here in Ogden. So we had just moved here. And before I moved here, my husband and I, we both knew we were going to need to make some friends because I was going to be working from home and so was he, because we both were bringing our jobs with us here. And so we started searching on Facebook, like we typed in Ogden and then just looked to see what groups popped up.
Ogden Friends.
Friends, please, friends.
And I was like, what
And
do you search?
You do. You type into Facebook. We typed in Ogden.
I've never moved. I would have no idea how to do this.
And what one of the options was pub runners, and we're like, they like to
that's
run
right.
and they like to
Okay.
drink beer.
Yes.
I bet they'll be our friends. And so
Case, who started in the beginning, is
one of the founders.
one of the founders, and not really involved anymore. But Case is what you call a oh shit, I forgot his name. When the British are coming, what's his name? The British are coming. The guy who's Paul Revere.
Oh, there we go.
So, if you've read, I've read Tipping Point,
Oh,
Tipping Point, the book, is famous actor or famous author Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about these people in the communities who are there were two people to tell that were supposed to
Town
tell everyone.
criers. Like a crier?
There were two people that were supposed to spread the word that the British were coming.
Right.
No one remembers person number two. Everyone remembers Paul Revere because Paul Revere was social. He knew everyone. He knew all the important people in town.
Yep.
So when he went to a town, he rode his horse into town. He went straight to the house or the church or whatever who he knew would spread the word to everybody else because he knew all the right people in all the right
networking.
towns. The other person didn't know anybody. So he would just did the same thing, rode through random towns and said the British are coming, and it didn't go anywhere. It died on the... So you need a person that knows people.
A
connector. And that's what he calls them in the book, are these connectors. Yeah. And so Case in town is like a connector.
100%.
And
the Goal Foundation.
we try to do that through our show, but Case is just naturally a connector. It's literally what he does for his job right now too. So it's great.
And he talks a lot.
Very chatty.
And he's good at it.
Yeah.
He's good at
Very
it.
good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how. So
great place to start.
It was a great
that.
place to start. Before we even moved here, by finding them on Facebook, we saw that they had this like pub crawl that they were going to have once we moved here, and we registered for it. And I'll never forget, Case called us. And we're like, who's calling us from Utah? Like, who even what? And so we answer, and he's like, hey, we're just calling to make sure that you registered for a pub crawl in Utah. Because our address was still Michigan because we didn't have a house here yet, but we'd already registered to go to the pub crawl. Yeah. And we're like, yes, we're coming, and we're going to be friends, and it's going to be great. And please don't hate us. Like, this has to work out. And so we were at their pub crawl, and they gave a community award to the Goal Foundation. And so Abby and Clarice were there. I also met my friend Stacy there because she was a part of Pub Runners. And essentially the rest is history. Like it was a funny night. We weren't even going to go because we felt silly. Like it was their end of year party. And we're like, we're going to be crashing their end of year party. They don't know us. Like this is weird. And we were tired and wanted to just go to bed. And instead we went and met all of our best friends. So,
but this is how you do it. Mm-hmm. You got to put yourself out there a little bit.
You got to show up.
You got to do it. You got to show up, and you can show up to a town where you know no one. and pick a group, and you made the
And hope
funniest.
it's the right
Yeah,
one.
well, I hope it's the right one, because Todd made a funny comment a few episodes ago about Facebook groups and stuff. And they're pretty much just good for militias or something. Whatever your comment
I
was.
mean, that's a couple of them are my like news source. I'm like, what's
Other
going
than
on
like
today?
running groups and cycling groups, for some reason they do have a tendency to sort of gather
Yeah.
on Facebook as well. But for the most part, yeah, I wouldn't. But that's the evolution of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It hasn't
worked.
always been like
It
that for
hasn't
sure.
always been that
But I'm
way.
so glad you
Yeah.
did reach out. And that's funny you say that, because looking back on all the years that we've become more and more kind of to the center of some of these groups.
Yeah.
I remember Brandon and I having that conversation about, our listeners, just like if you are new to the community, if you want to meet new amazing people, just show up at this event or come say hi at this event or just come say hi to us and we'll introduce you to the right person. Like we have been trying to do that because it's sometimes that easy
Yeah.
or that hard because
Yeah.
you're really pushing yourself into
Yeah.
it, out of your comfort zone.
It's that
into a
simple.
space.
It might not be easy, but it's simple.
But these groups that we're talking about, and that ends up being most groups, are so approachable and so warm.
Especially here.
And
so
so many of them are. Yeah. No, we're not talking about those militia groups. Sometimes that's a whole separate.
that one's a
process.
whole, and there are like rules that you need to know, and you can, when somebody violates that like unwritten rule in some of those groups.
Todd's new to those, so we'll break him in.
Well, I love that origin story. That's wonderful. Where in Michigan are you from?
I'm like, do I pull up my map for the camera? Over here. The west side. Between a small town between Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo.
Gotcha. I used to live just outside of Detroit.
Oh, fun.
In a
Yeah.
place called Farmington Hills. But we used to travel around, mostly north.
Oh, yeah.
or
Everyone
west,
heads north.
But not
Up north.
kind of south.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure at some point we sort of drove through that.
Yeah.
That was so many weekend trips, so many there's a lot of lakes up there.
So many.
That's-
Do you know,
that's-
fun fact
that's what
about
they say.
Michigan?
State of lakes or something. What's the slogan?
That's actually Minnesota's
Oh,
slogan.
shut up. There's nothing about lakes in Michigan?
Um,
Whatever. There's a lot of lakes
I
up
know.
there.
You're never, like, anywhere you stand in Michigan, you're never more than 5 miles from a body of water.
Yeah.
That's a
pretty
fun
awesome.
fact.
It's a neat state. And if you go north, it's even cooler. Because you get to a Great Lake and it may as well be an ocean. At
Oh,
least when I
all
was
of
young.
them. Yeah, because that's what I loved about growing up on the west side is because I was like 20 minutes from the lake and
That's
it
so
literally felt like the ocean. Like it was, you can't see across it. The beaches are beautiful and sandy. And
That's crazy.
I remember
mean-
the first time I went like sort of a deep sea fishing. Like we went the big boat out and it may as well.
yeah.
You may as well have
I
gone
wasn't
out onto
impressed
the
when I
ocean.
first got to an ocean. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it was a little underwhelming. I was like, oh, cool.
Michigan's a neat place.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is the Great Salt Lake ain't that great when you
It's a little
Like,
different.
it's
a little different.
And then you go up to
But then
the
the mountains.
Upper
like,
Peninsula and you do good camping up there. Yeah, we were that age where it was good camping.
Are there hills? Are there, because the mountains are not really a thing.
We have a lot of skiing, but usually the ski hills, we call them ski hills because they definitely were not mountains, were like former landfills that they covered over and then
That's
turned
a lot of
into-
resorts back east.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
okay.
resourceful.
Yeah.
We make our own fun.
What did you just throw a dart at a map and end up in Ogden? Or because
You know, it's
both your
kinda-
jobs were online? How
Yeah,
did
well,
you do that?
so my husband actually, so his job was actually here, but he was working from home from here. So he was
Okay,
covering a territory for sales
Okay.
of Utah, Idaho, Colorado. And so we could have lived really anywhere in there, but they preferred Utah and near an airport. So we're like, okay, we got to be near Salt Lake. And what's really funny is when we were just like Googling cities, Ogden was not on the list because it was too big. We were like, oh, because we really love living in a small town where you can be part of the community and get involved.
Yeah.
And so we were looking for like 5,000 or less. Like we were really looking for small towns. And, but we, right? Like that probably would have been perfect. What's funny though, is that we went out to eat because we came out for like a long weekend to travel all around the state to figure out where we were going to live and looked at a bunch of houses. And we actually went to, this is funny, we went to Wingnuts and met Amanda House
Yeah.
You all know now Amanda House.
Was she your realtor?
No,
Oh.
she is now, which is
Okay.
perfect. It was a perfect job for her. But at the time, she was the general manager at Wingnuts, and we had all of our listings.
She was not.
She was.
Oh,
and
I didn't know
that's
that.
how she knows probably
Okay.
half of Ogden. The rest is now like after she.
Todd knows when you work in that industry.
Yeah,
you
you
end
know
up-
everyone.
Yeah,
And so we had
You
all of our
learn too much
listings.
information
You learn-
sometimes.
yeah.
TMI. Yeah.
Yeah.
That she
Jen
knows.
knows.
yeah.
Yep. And so she saw our listings and was like, "Oh, tell me about your family. Tell me what you're looking for. Where have you already looked?" And we were telling her all about it. And she was like, "Oh, you're not going to want to be there, there, or there. Here's where you want." Like pulled out our map and was like, "Here's where you want to be. Here's where you want to
She's
be."
so great. That's
And she was
awesome.
like Ogden's cheerleader before
Yeah.
she was even in real estate,
Wow.
right? And so she was like, "You're going to love Ogden. It's so diverse. It's so cool. It's the best community. Like, don't pay attention to the population. It's a great place to be. I can already tell you're going to love it here." And so we changed our whole plan and told our realtor like that night, we're like, apparently we need to look at some houses in Ogden.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, she saved us from
Well,
like we would not still live in Utah. I don't think if we like Ogden is such a special place. I don't think we would have stayed.
We're happy you
So,
chose the big city of
the
Ogden.
big city.
I know.
Like
I know.
it's
so
I know.
big.
What is
It's
it?
too big.
87,000 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too
Huge
big.
numbers.
I know it's
Huge
massive.
numbers. Yeah.
I heard a really bad joke today, and my retelling of it's going to make it even worse.
They usually are because
Yeah.
you remember
Yeah.
about half of it. So
But
let's
it
see
was
what
like from a comedian who now lives in L.A. He's like, I live in L.A. now, and when I tell people I come from a small town, and they say, and they name some like random, like he named a town that like everybody knows, like like Nashville. It's like no, he's like, no, so small that he said my cousin went to a yard party, is what he called it, yard party. And there a brawl broke out, and he ended up got in a fight and ended up killing a person. And our town is so small that person's sister asked me to the senior prom a few years later because the pickings are slim in a
So-
small town.
Oh my God.
He's like, he's trying to say like, this is how small the town is, right? Like, and he's like, and the reason I didn't go, he's like, I had to turn down the offer because my dad said, yeah, I don't think his dad forgot, and I don't think we should be mixing those families.
Oh my god!
that went a little dark.
I
but
did. I'm like,
I know.
But
I
it kind
know.
of makes it point though.
It does make the point. I'm like,
it's a
I don't
small
know
ass
if that's a
town.
joke.
Yeah, I do like dark humor. I mean,
Okay,
it's pretty
I mean,
funny.
yeah.
It's pretty great. Okay, so back to the dinosaur park. We'll pull us out of the dark
Woo,
humor.
here we go.
Yeah, we're back there, and it's been only 4 months, so you haven't had a ton of time. But I know that the kids are going to be out of school soon. So what do you have coming up in the summer, and how do you prepare for the hordes of kids all summer long?
Yeah. So we prepare by the hordes of kids that come all school year on field trips.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we had 2 school bus loads today, yesterday, that come in and out all year long, which is awesome because we do have the indoor museum and the outdoor sculpture park. The bummer for our field trips the past few months, though, has been that our 32-year-old playground, like the original playground to the park, was under construction. So thinking about how old that was, some of the features were crumbling a bit. We did keep some legacy pieces. So we have like the cute turtle and the skull and some different things that we've scattered throughout the park. But we have a whole brand new playground coming right like perfectly in time. It'll be finished around like Memorial Day. So June, once they're free from
that's
school.
soon.
Yeah, super soon.
Yeah.
So like June 14th, fingers crossed that everything stays on our timeline. June 14th, we're going to have a big grand opening for the new All Abilities Playground. So it's going to be amazing. So we'll have food trucks and do the whole big thing.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Playgrounds have evolved. You think back to
Yeah.
the playgrounds you grew up on, or even the playground when it would have been construction 30-something years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything wanted to kill you. Everything at a playground
Yeah,
wanted
like
to kill
the
you.
slide was like
slides
the
that were
classic metal
got
slide.
140 degrees.
It is.
Oh
It
my
was.
The merry-go-rounds that went 140
Those
miles
were
per
so
hour.
fun. The teeter-totters.
Oh
Oh,
my
gosh.
gosh.
And if your friend got
Everything-
off at the bottom and then, you slammed onto
Everything
the
was
ground.
constructed with rusty nails.
Or the wood ones where all the wasps would like build their nests.
every once in a while you go down one of those slides that just shot you off the end.
Yeah.
You ended up halfway in the
Or
sand.
like the electrocute.
And it was always really, really sharp rocks underneath the bottom of the slide.
This will not be that.
Nope.
It's really
that's
thoughtful
that's a really good investment, but
yeah,
absolutely not cheap.
Yeah.
Like playgrounds are so expensive.
I know. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't have to fundraise for that. Like, I'm glad that is already bought and paid for and going to be installed.
No, that's
like,
a good thing to inherit.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's a really nice thing to inherit. Especially too, it's really thoughtful because everyone loved the big like tree slide feature, and so they recreated that. So that's coming back. Just not without the hot metal slide part. So that's going to be
sharp
really
edges.
It's going to be a nice upgraded feature. There's lots of transfer points, so that kids from like wheelchairs can be transferred, all kinds of different things like that. And some sensory things have been included, like some quiet spaces. Like we'll have, we have like our big main section, and then another little section over to the side that has the swings, has some like quiet like hideout zones. And
do you have loud sections too to scare the kids? Like when they go around?
That would be everywhere else.
That is everywhere else. Exactly. There's even like a cool, like it's called like a zip line. It's not like a zip line, but that's even available for those like in a wheelchair, and there's just some really cool stuff. So
does that include where you dug in sand for the?
Ooh, that's still available. That hasn't been like upgraded. It's still It's still going strong.
Is there like dinosaur bones in there?
Yeah. Yep. And they cover it up every morning so that they can dig for it during the day.
Now, when's that open up? You said
we're doing the big grand opening on June 14th. It might be available before that, so our members will get early access. They'll get the email. But yeah, that's the grand opening as long as everything, that's even with like a little bit of a buffer. So save the day.
Now tell me a little bit about your staff. Do you have a massive staff that's totally overstaffed? And
we're not overstaffed.
This is usually the question about nonprofits.
I'm like, there's a couple more positions that I'm really hoping to add this year, but
fingers crossed.
I know, I'm like, please send me all the best vibes. But as far as like our docents, which is like our tour guides, like our adventure guides that take you through the museum, or our education outreach, they're all absolutely incredible, like so passionate. Like I was telling Brandon earlier, a lot of them have been there for like 10 years. I'm like, how have you been here for 10 years? You're 20 something, but they come in as a volunteer, as a teenager, and never leave. And then we start paying them once they turn 16, they can start getting paid. And so they're just absolutely incredible. Like there's lots of other things that a nonprofit that's 30 some years old, like we've had some growing pains and some cool things to get, in place, and just structurally or strategic planning wise. But the staff, like absolutely off the charts, amazing, really thoughtful people.
Okay, so at 4 months, you're still learning the job.
Yes.
For me, that's usually the first 2 years of a job, but at least the first year.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any ideas yet? I mean, is anything starting to kind of brew around, or are you just going to kind of play out the newness of the job? You're like, no, you're ready to jump in with
so ready. Yeah, I am so ready. Even before I started, I have a note section in my phone of all just the fun events, the fun collaborations with other organizations in the community, all the plays on words, all the fun. I don't know, just so many fun, different, probably more so events driven, just because that's kind of my background, more so is fundraisers and events and collaborations and community. So most of my ideas revolve around that. But then what's been really cool is the only 2 standing meetings I really have, which is amazing because normally in my past lives or past jobs, I've had so many standing meetings, but the only ones we really have is our team meeting on Monday. And then on Fridays, we do our 10-year strategic planning meeting with the team, and which is really cool because, like I said, our curator, paleontologist, education director, Jeff, has been there, 13, almost 14 years. And so he's got all this knowledge in his head of all the projects that have been on the back burner that we're just waiting for a director to start, or, waiting for this piece or that piece to come in. And so we've been downloading his brain and his knowledge and background and history on all of these different projects and constructions and upgrades and evolutions, if you will, of the park. And so we've been doing that every week. And it's really cool to see where we can go, right? Like what we can do, how we can continue to evolve the park. One of the things that I'm inheriting that's beautiful, like the playground, is called the hatchery. And that is a big building to our west. And that is going to be home to like CNC machines, 3D printers, CAD machines to build our own sculptures.
That's what they say, but it's actually Jurassic Park. I mean,
it's going to be Jurassic Park, don't tell. Yeah. So we're going to build and create.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Right. Yeah.
Essentially,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
The hatchery.
Hatchery. That's why.
We're going to hatch some dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And be able to add new sculptures to our park.
That's amazing.
That we can build ourselves, that we can
awesome.
send to other museums. We can 3D print our own fossils. Wow. And it's going to be really...
That's awesome.
Didn't even know about that.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Mm-hmm. And then how do you... Sounds like they've got some of that funding for this done already. So where does the funding come from? How do you obtain that in the future?
Yeah, a few different ways. We have our technical name, like our articles of incorporation, is Ogden Dinosaur Park and Museum Foundation. So we are, a 501c3 nonprofit foundation that runs the park. And we do have an endowment that helps us. We can pull off a little bit of that for big projects like the hatchery. I feel like from that went to the playground and just future projects. Mm-hmm. That will help for sure. It doesn't fund everything because you can't just pull it all out of there, but it definitely keeps us able to make little upgrades like that. But then Ramp has been a huge funder of the park. We have just a really great relationship with Ramp. The next big project coming up out of Ramp is our T-Rex. We're going to have a new T-Rex because our T-Rex is old and crumbly and needs some help. So, and Jeff has big visions about repositioning him because of new science and new things that we've learned about.
The new one?
Mm-hmm. Our new T-Rex. It's going to
put him in a little bit more natural pose, which is going to be completely different. Yeah. I was listening to some stand-up was talking about how
I'm glad you listen to stand-ups, by the way.
Oh, yes. This was actually quite really, really good one. What was he talking about? I think it had something to do with, he was making fun a little bit of just like, when you find these bones over the course of all of these years, like how did you know what it looked like when you put it all together, right?
Yeah.
And so you always end up with like a few extras, or it could be completely wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, since then, you find more complete ones that kind of help.
Well, imagine having all of the pieces or not even all the pieces to a puzzle, but you don't have what it looks like.
But also spread over, like, say, 1,000 feet over 100 years.
Right.
Yeah. Here's a great way that Jeff, our paleontologist, explained it, because we were given a tour of our lab, because we have real fossils, real dinosaur bones in our lab. It's pretty cool. And pieces that they're working on, like things that are new.
So cool.
Like new species, it's pretty amazing. But he described it to someone as, imagine you have your puzzle, but then each piece is its own puzzle to figure out what that piece is before you can even put it into the puzzle.
Yep. Oh, my God.
And I was like, whoa. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
It's so
good way to do it. Mm-hmm. But I think that they said that they had just a couple left over. So they're like, we're just going to put them up here.
That's how they got the
That's how they ended up with the little arms, right?
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just like, that was just an afterthought.
Oh, that's funny.
Those are the last things.
Those are the extra
We're
pieces.
just like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but we're just going to put them right
there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love
I bought a Jeep when I was really young. I was like 17 or 18, and the engine blew on it. Well, I didn't have a lot of money. Yeah, well, it was CJ5.
Yeah.
And my neighbor friend down the street, Mike Johnson, who was, he used to fix bicycles when we were young, and now he's like, I can replace your engine for you. Here, let me help you do it. And his dad was a vendor, so he had all these like Coke can flats. You know those cardboard flats. So he took the entire engine apart, and in every flat were all these bolts. And he's like, yeah, that's how I stay organized, because each flat has different screws and bolts and everything in it. And then, of course, puts it all back together, and there's all these screws and bolts and shit that's left over. And I'm like, what?
I hope those were important.
You get what you paid for. Thanks for
and it wasn't much. I don't know. I didn't pay much. But he did a great job. He did a great job, but it was funny, and it just reminded me of that because it's like, not everything goes back. So then you just like, I don't know, put these random arms on a T-Rex, I guess.
It doesn't matter if it's IKEA furniture or an engine.
I know.
It's all about the same. Yeah, it's about the same thing.
Oh, that's so funny.
Okay, so go ahead.
I was going to say one of the coolest dinosaur facts that I've learned at the park is that the T-Rex arms were human size. Like if you think about like sticking your arms on a giant dinosaur, but they were so strong that they could curl 400 pounds.
Making the now like Brandon,
wild?
Obviously.
Right? I was like, and my husband's pretty strong, but he can't curl like 400 pounds. Like
that's amazing.
Do you know what
that's
one of the strongest animals I learned today in the world is? And it is not an elephant, but it is an elephant beetle.
Yeah.
I'm
like proportionally, I was like an insect. I was
thinking that too.
Because it can lift like 400 pounds. It's 400 times its weight or something like that, which is wild.
Yeah. That's why all superheroes that are in any way sort of ant-based or spider-based or anything that they're like, it's that proportionate, like strength being this small to being larger makes them like extraordinarily strong.
Which is why I'm really confused about the Hulk.
Yeah, that's altogether different. That's a different show as well.
Have you seen the new
No, I have not.
or whatever?
I have not. But I will. But I will. I hear it's quite good.
Well, we watched.
I like those, but I'm behind by like
you're behind
years and years.
My favorite one is Thor Ragnarok because it was funny and it had Thor, and he's my favorite.
Yeah, a good pick, and that was a great movie. I really liked that a lot.
Well, the goats are money.
that was the sequel to it.
That was the sequel. Love and Thunder. Love and Thunder is my favorite. Have you seen Love and Thunder? Yeah. Okay.
I did see that one because that one had Thor too. And
Ragnarok's okay. Love and Thunder.
I like that it's Thor and not Hemsworth. Is it Hemsworth or is it Thor?
I think it. Yes.
There's a little crossover.
Well, and it's funny because I've said this for a long time that I think I really like Thor because he reminds me of my husband. Like when they cut his hair off, I was like, oh, he's like, okay.
Did he used to have long hair? Your husband?
No, but like when they cut Thor's hair off, then I was like, hey.
Yeah.
And so
he looks good with his hair.
Her husband's fit like he works out.
I'm like he does, and he couldn't curl that 400
pounds.
like the T-Rex. But now he's probably going to be like, wait,
T-Rex,
now I have to do this.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I love that.
All right.
So you're learning new things every day is what you're getting
every day. Yes, every day. And sometimes I remember them, and sometimes it's so much that I'm like, yeah, I'm not. That you're gonna have to tell me that again.
Okay, so was there any transition between the last executive director and yourself? Yeah, were they there for you, or are you coming in?
Oh, coming in fresh. I think there was a gap. I don't know how long they were without a director, but for a little bit. So the board was really happy, especially like the executive board, because they had to step in, and a lot was left on the staff, and so then that was really nice for me to come in and. A lot of people were wearing just way too many hats, like way too many hats. So I did bring in, we added a new director, an administrative director to take like the finance and HR part off of the events director. I was like, you should focus on events and guest services and not also be finance and HR, So we've done that, and I have some. Yeah, I was like, step one. I've only been here 5 minutes, but this is what I'd like to do. Mm-hmm. So that was really nice to be able to do that. And then I've got some ideas on the next couple editions.
And then just to learn just a little bit more about you, the transition between the remote job that you came out to Utah doing and the degree and this job, like what happened kind of during that phase?
Yeah. Yep. So that phase was I quickly got a job at Goal. At the Goal Foundation. They were hiring for a marketing and communications manager, which I was about 60% qualified to do. But
that was before the grad school program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that was before. And that's what set me on my trajectory, right? Because I fell in love with nonprofit work because I had not worked in nonprofit before. And I fell in love with this community and started looking around, and I was like, okay, I love marketing and communications, but I really love leading a team. I'm like, how could I do that and lead a team? And so then I got some great advice from some mentors in our community, and they said, you need a director role. And the development director role at YCC Family Crisis Center came open, and they were an organization that I really loved and respected.
It's a great group, yeah.
Oh my gosh, love them. So I went there. So I was at Goal for 3 years. Then I went to YCC, where they didn't have a development department before I started there. So that was really cool to build that. So I was there for 2.5 years. And then while I was there, I finished my master's in public administration, and then got scooped over to McCady Hospital. So still on that nonprofit, but they're just a massive nonprofit here in our community, to be a part of their administration and to further grow my leadership skills. Because when I was at the Goal Foundation, that's when I was like, someday I want to be an executive director. And so I got on a really good path of okay, I become a director, led a team, built this program, learned the fundraising part, learned the finance part, where does our money come from? And then being a part of such a big organization at McCady.
That's huge.
Oh my gosh, massive, really massive. And just the connections and the relationships I was able to build while I was there too. And just seeing our community from a different perspective too, and just learning the inner workings of making the decisions for a big organization like that, being a part of administration, I learned so much. So I was there for 2 years. And then what's funny is I knew I wanted to be an executive director. I had no idea it would be at the dinosaur park. And so I had a couple of friends reach out to me, and they're like, I know you've wanted to be an executive director. Did you see that the dinosaur park was looking? And I was like, no. And they were like, I read it and I thought of you. And I was like, at the dinosaur park? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, are you sure? What part of that?
It seems like a natural trajectory.
Totally. I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, no, go read it. And I was like, okay. So I went and read it, and I was like, oh, that does sound like my favorite things. And so I reached out to their board chair, Shane, because I knew him from the chamber. And I was like, hey, do you have a minute to have a call? I'd really like to learn what skill set you're looking for. What pieces are missing, and is that me? Right? Because I know what a heavy lift that is, and what an investment of.
What a great idea! What a great call! What a great idea!
Yeah, because
Were
I
you
was
nervous
like,
to reach out to the chair, or that was just sort of a natural thing to do?
It was natural. I just sent him a quick message on LinkedIn because he had shared the job on LinkedIn, and I just said, hey, do you have a minute just to talk? Because I know if I go and get this job, that's a 5-10 year plus commitment. So that's a big investment of your time in life, right?
The first lesson in sales is to what do they need? So she did that first thing in sales. It was well, let's find out what they need,
and is that me? And is that what I really love to do? Because if they would have said, we need a paleontologist, we need somebody to get out there and fix all the sculptures, we need somebody to curate our fossils and catalog our collections, I would have been like, absolutely not. Because none of that is in my strength, right? And so they let me know that they just really needed someone to come and lead the staff. And I was like, oh, I get to be a coach. I'm like, that's my favorite part. They're like, we need help with fundraising. And I was like, oh, I love to do that. They're like, we need more community engagement and community involvement and some marketing and to get our finances in order. I was like, I love that. Those are all my favorite things. I love to grow something. I love to build something, and the potential there is just endless. It's endless. And so
this is a great example of those of y'all that are listening, because sometimes you don't know the exact sort of trajectory of what you're going to end up with. Yeah. But then also it shows on the administrative side of things, it's not necessarily for everyone, but those that enjoy doing that. Mm-hmm. It is a whole different kind of skill set. I remember learning that in some small degree. I worked at Weber State before my current job with the Arts Council down in Salt Lake City. But I remember we had a couple of office aides. It was students, right, that would help answer some calls, at the front desk. And it was at the art department at Weber State. And I remember we were looking for new hires, and the office manager was very adamant about trying to find a student that was not going to school for art, was not an artist, right? Because Because we all know artists are a complete pain in the ass, right, to work with. And so having that to deal with on top of everything else. But I think that if you're looking really closely at just the true job responsibilities, you'll find out really fast that
an artist
sometimes you'll get a little bit hung up on the portions of the job that's not part of your job, right? Or basically you're setting up schedules for the rest of the office, or you're fielding answers, but for the most part, your expertise in that thing is not even in the top 20 lists of what you're looking for. 100%. Having an interest in art, like dinosaurs are great. They're fun.
They're super fun. You know? And I love education.
Like I love Land Before Time. That was great.
That's my favorite. I loved it. Yeah.
But I think more than anything, they knew and your board knew exactly what they were looking for. And they found the right person.
I know. I'm like, I'm totally Team Dino now. I'm learning all kinds of things.
You should get that shirt. Team Dino.
Dino.
100%. Well, congrats on your new job.
Thanks. It's so much fun.
We will have to chat more and more and more because we have had a long relationship with the Dinosaur Park, just like everyone else has.
And I know.
So we want to promote all your new
stories.
cool things.
Yeah, I love hearing all the stories and people saying like, "Oh my gosh, I took my kids there every week or every day," or they were the only place open on a Sunday that we could go and do something as a family, or my kids wouldn't nap unless I walked for 2 miles, so I had to walk to the park. You know, like just different fun things. Or the kids that were Dino kids that have been at the park, come into the park since they were little, that now work there. Like, it's so cool. Like, so many of them were those Dino kids coming through the front doors.
Which you got to start. And if I'm sure you probably right now have that youngest age.
Oh, yeah.
Now that in 10 years from now are going to be on your staff.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's so fun.
You have to constantly keep an eye out for those things. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
The Golf Foundation, where you used to work, is producing the marathon this weekend on Saturday, and it runs damn near through.
Oh my gosh, right behind our park.
Yes,
yeah.
the Dinosaur Park.
Yep.
And so anyone who comes in from out of state, which I think they said there was like 40 something there's so many different states and different countries. Yep. They may not know it. Like, I don't know if it shows up on like the little map that you see, like the course map or whatever. But as you're running through on the little
on the pathway.
Black pathway there, you look to your left and like, that's
like,
a
is that
dinosaur.
A dinosaur? And like they make noises and they roar at you. I know. I've got some of our staff that are going to be out there in our inflatables, because I think they'll add some whimsy and some fun.
Yes.
Because we do help support the race with some water and different things like that from the park, because there's like a little aid station there. But I was like, oh my gosh, we need those fun T-Rex little things out there.
It's a great section of the marathon. Yeah. It's cool. It's in the trees, and you get
and they just repaved it. It's like
they did
pristine.
Good. I haven't been down there for a while.
It's pristine.
Good.
It's so nice.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and actually, our outreach team is gonna be at the Finish Line Festival this year for the first time, because I'm like, there's a Kids K. There's 500 children that will be there with their parents about to run, and they need to be going to the dinosaur park after they run the Kids K. So we're going to be there. All the kids are going to get a free entry coupon in their little runner bag. And so we're going to have some fun activities for them to do in the park before they run.
Love it.
Well. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Good stuff, Sarah.
Yeah. And I'll be at the half start. Like, I'm like,
oh yes.
Once you're part of goal,
working.
you don't ever get to retire your goal for life. And so, my husband and oldest son and I organize and run the half start. So I'll be on the mic first thing in the morning, playing the mix, doing the thing.
Am I supposed to do that for you? Or I'll give you a link.
I got the link. I was on the email thread.
What? Oh, no, I didn't.
Or maybe
make it yet.
the different. Oh, the new playlist.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
In case you want to borrow.
I do.
Or whatever. Okay.
100%, because that's not my jam.
Well, but maybe, because
see what you
we didn't talk about this yet, but the coaching comes from cheer coaching. So you at one point in time knew every song all the kids wanted to hear.
100%.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
But the people around the marathon are usually not the kids.
They're like my age-ish. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing this weekend, Todd.
I knew it was
you'll
coming
be at
up.
the full start.
Yes, I'll be at the full
Send
start.
them on to me.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Good times. Thanks so much. The Ogden Dinosaur Park. What a cool job. Holy cow. Congrats on that.
Thank you so much.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, or good?
Yeah, no, just a quick update for Salt Lake City. So we have the Salt Lake City Gallery Stroll is Friday. So Finch Lane Gallery is open for gallery stroll every third Friday. And so come check it out. Artists are having sort of a special dance performance, and so if you're available, that's from 6 to 9 on this coming Friday. It is also Living Tradition Festival, which is one of the big downtown Salt Lake City festivals that the Arts Council puts together. So I will be working that festival every day. So I'll be there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday from like start open to close. And so I'm already looking forward to the Monday.
To the Monday.
But that being said, that's where I'll be this weekend. And so that's a free festival. Come check out good dancing, food, music, all that good stuff. But that is this weekend. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a busy week. Mm-hmm. That all starts tomorrow.
I know we're definitely in mayhem. That's what I call May.
Oh my God, that's such a great word for May. There's something. It's festival time.
Oh,
it's every
weekend.
Yep. We've got the marathon, and then I think I have a weekend off, and then we have the OFOM. Yeah, so
I'll be there too.
Yeah, are you yawning, Todd?
Yeah,
it's mayhem. He's
I'm
tired
telling you,
already.
it has been a busy 2 months. It's not even just like a week or so. It just seems like these months. But that being said, too, related, but I let you know yesterday. But if anybody's listening that is a fan of, this is a little cross podcasting promo here for our Van Sessions podcast. We are now our musicians are booked through the end of this year. And so if you're reaching out to Brandon or myself, I typically try not to book out quite that far, but it happened. And so feel free and shoot me an email. But that being said,
good job, Todd. That's a lot of work, man.
I have a fun cross tie-in. One of our newest team members at Team Dino was on Van Sessions and had to start a week later because her band was on Van Sessions. Amy Lewis is her name. She plays bass, and I have no idea what her band's name is, but
that's
very
fantastic.
tall. Yeah.
Good information.
She was like, I have to do Van Sessions. I was like, I love them. Yay. Okay, we'll push it back a week.
You supported it.
Yes.
I know. How cool.
Very good. Well, I have are you familiar with this is a great story, Todd.
I love your stories.
I know.
Let's see how well-rounded it is.
I do. But this gives me hope. So we know these stories because we have gone to Banff, I don't know how many years. And if you've gone to Banff Mountain, not Banff in person, but Banff Mountain Film Festival.
The touring festival comes through
yes,
Egyptian.
Yes, it comes through. Cool. And if you've ever been, which Todd and I go nearly every year, there's always the video or the short film of the guy or a couple guys, and every once in a while a female, but it's usually the guys are the dumb ones who like don't know anything about, say, the Arctic and decide to just cross the Arctic, or they don't know anything.
And like tennis shoes or something.
Yeah. They just decide like, I'm gonna sail across the world.
Yep.
So this guy is gone absolutely viral. So viral. This is New York Times, and what's the date on this? This is May 12th. What's today? 13th. So this is yesterday on the New York Times. His name is Oliver Widger. He's got his cat Phoenix. Oliver was working at Discount Tires, and he found out that he had his disease where his back is degenerating. He's 28, 29 years old, something like that, and he's got a 100-year-old back. And so he thought, and he said, while I'm working my corporate job, I just decided every day that I hate my life even more. And so he cashed out his 401k. He had $50,000 in his 401k, but after fees and early withdrawal penalties and stuff, he was down to $30K. Bought a sailboat, never sailed before, fixed it up, taught himself how to sail, and within months decided he was going to sail from the Pacific Ocean. I think it was from Washington to Hawaii, and he wants to sail across the world. And he videos, he puts it out there on social every day. So he says, here's what I'm doing, fixing up my boat, and now I'm at this point. I am nothing special. I am just trying to sail. And he has gone viral. And it's that
I'm gonna go look him up.
It's the short, so Oliver Widger, so TikTok and Instagram, and I think it's saying something with Phoenix is his cat, and so it might be I don't know his handles. Wait, this is one here. Sailing with Phoenix. I think it's Sailing with Phoenix because that's the cat's name. Sailing with Phoenix. It's his cat. So it's him and his cat. And he gives us, oh geez, that's really loud. do I end this?
I thought that was me.
No.
That's really funny.
That was me. So Sailing with Phoenix, and then so anyway, but it's the 2025 version of all the films that we watch on Banff Mountain Film Festival, because it's these people that are brave enough to go all in on a thing, throw everything out, like, you know what I mean? And just say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to sail around the damn world. I'm going to figure it out. And he's like day 5 in, and his rudder breaks, and he's got to figure it out. But he bought a Starlink, and so he's able to like YouTube fix stuff on his sailboat in real time while he's out in the middle of the ocean. And people are tracking him and checking in on him each day to make sure he's okay. But again, we've seen the stories, but you could actually track the story in real time through his Instagram updates while he travels. It's really cool. Anyway, I thought that was a great
That's way better than your joke that you
You had a nickel for every time someone said that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the dad jokes and other people's dark jokes. You got to watch out for those too.
Yeah,
oh
the
my
dark
goodness.
ones. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you to Banyan One for powering today's episode of the Ogden Arts and Adventure Show. You can listen and subscribe to Ogden Arts and Adventure on YouTube. Look for us on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and thebanyancollective.com. We also have a Podbean app for Android and iPhones. Oh my goodness, all the pop-ups, Jiminy. If you want to be on the show, you can DM us, DM me on Instagram at Ogden Adventure. This week's outdoor jukebox, a little something from, we had Standards and Substandards back on the show, and they came with 2 originals. So this is one of their originals. They're trying to create a new standard, like a standard. Standards, because they're standard.
So not a substandard.
Not a substandard. Yeah, standard. So this is Something Right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next Ogden Arts and Adventure Show.
I drink my whiskey in the morning. I drink my coffee late at night. The doctor says it's wrong, but when I'm in your arms, I know that I did something right. We see our people getting farther apart, but you and me were staying tight. The world is going crazy, but when I'm on your eyes, I know that we got something right. We've had to suffer all this weather, but it's alright when we're together. This life is hard, but with you by my side, I have all of my feet high. You go to work every morning, I sing my music late at night. I hardly get to see you, but when I hold you close, I feel like we got something right. You and me don't always see the same way, and nowadays we fight and fuss. But for the long run, you've got my back, and I know we can get on us. I drink my whiskey in the morning, I drink my tea late at night. The world is going crazy, but when I look in your eyes, I know that we got something. I feel like we got something. I know we got something right. Thank you.
Yeah. Standards and Substandards on Van Sessions.